is going on out there in the land of YouTube? What's going on, YouTubers? YouTubies? What's going on out there in your world today? Happy Monday to everybody. I cannot really see very well in here, but that's okay. It's just a little bit dark. Anyway, what's going on? I just wanted to pop in for a second and say hello. And I wanted to talk about what I've been thinking about for the past couple days, and my brain's been marinating on it. And, you know, Constitutional Law Scholar is about to start, a couple days away from starting Constitutional Law Scholar. And you know, what's going on? What's going on? Let me see. Let me put my glasses on so I can hit the like button. Everybody in here right now, if everybody takes their finger right now and you hit the like button, hundreds of people will come in here. If not, well, I got to probably be in an audit before too many people come in, and you know, I'm driving down the road, so I might jump into an audit. What's going on? Jeff Hates Pigs. Where you been, Jeff Hates Pigs? Kim, what is going on? What is going on? No, I'm just setting up for Constitutional Law Scholar. What's going on, Dan Fizzle? Davis, what is going on? Jerry, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. Andre, what's going on, my friend? Alan Hubbs, what's going on, my brother? I'm setting up for Constitutional Law Scholar. That's what I have here. I got a bunch of gear here so that I really want to teach you guys how to be a Constitutional Law Scholar. I want you guys to be able to say, actually, you know, I'm a Constitutional Law Scholar. I've been studying, and, you know, for the people out there who really like to do research, I'm going to give you guys the information, and then you can listen to my presentation and then say, you know what, I'm going to research that case myself. And then you can read the case yourself, and you can decide if it's Constitutional Law Scholar or if it isn't. And that's what you guys can do. But I want to teach you how to say, and that's what this live is about right now, is the 2001 case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. Thomas Shue, I think we've communicated with you, tried to get you out your trifolds a couple of times, brother. Like, I don't know if you've sent me the right address, dude. I know my cousin called me about you and said, hey. So anyway, but email me over there, Thomas Shue. My cousin will reach back to you. But anyway, so I want to talk right now, and I want to kind of get into this a little bit. You know, as you guys know, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm doing pretty good. You know, as you guys know, I talk about, I try not to think about things like that. I just try to focus on what my mission is. And you know, like for example, you know, this channel, we're about to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm super grateful that people have subscribed. Any amount of progress that you make, people will try to diminish your progress. You know, so I don't focus on those things. You know, I only focus on, I want to teach you how to be a Constitutional Law Scholar so that you know a specific amount and specific cases where you can say, oh, so that's how we lost our rights, and here's how that is repugnant to the Bill of Rights, which would be the 1803 case of Marbury versus Madison. Anything that doesn't align with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is repugnant to the Constitution and void and invalid. But let me tell you what happened in 2001. In 2001, and I believe City of Lago Vista was in Texas. As a matter of fact, I looked it up one time. I've done a few videos on City of Lago Vista. Back in my TikTok days, I did quite a few videos on Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. So you know, the 5-4 decision is going to be written by a person called a justice who's nothing justice about him. His name is David Souter. And David Souter in Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, he cited, just so you guys know, for all of the people like myself who are great big Second Amendment proponents of all gun laws are invalid because the words gun and law don't go together. But so conservative Supreme Court personnel, they will fight tooth and nail to uphold our Second Amendment rights. However, conservative Supreme Court personnel empower the police and the government over us historically, time and time and time again. So in the 2000 case, I think it was a 99, Was it a 1990? It doesn't matter. The point is, the facts of the case are that I want to say her name was Jessica Atwater, but I don't remember her first name. A woman named Atwater was in the city of Lago Vista, and I believe that that's in Texas. So she's driving down the road in her vehicle, and she has 2 kids. And the 2 kids, like I'm driving a cargo truck right now, so the 2 kids are climbing around in the cab of the truck or in the car. They're literally just toddlers, and they're climbing around in the car. But City of Lago Vista is about this big. And so of course, what happens is the piggy who pulls her over, he says, "Oh, I pulled you over last week for not having your kids in a seatbelt." And this woman, she was driving through the neighborhood, talking to neighbors. It's one of those places, and it's right on the water too, City of Lago Vista. And so she's having conversations with friends and family as she's driving down the road. Her windows are down. And so she's talking to one of the neighbors there in City of Lago Vista when the cop has pulled her over and said, "Oh, your kids aren't in car seats." And so the cop then says, "Well, you know, I gave you a ticket last week or last month for having your kids without seatbelts." And so that cop, in the case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, he decides to arrest the woman for her 2 children not being in seatbelts. So they take her to jail. The cop tries to put her kids with the Division of Family Youth Services. I'm not joking. He tries to call the Division of Family Youth Services on this woman's children. And so one of the neighbors, because it's a small community, runs out and says, "No, I'm taking the kids." They snatch the kids out of the car, and they take the kids. The woman's husband gets home, and you know, it's Texas. He goes to work. She takes care of the kids. So he goes and gets in his car and goes down to the jail and said, "Let my wife out of the jail." And so there's this big, hoopla going on there in City of Lago Vista. And so within really quickly, they sue the police department of City of Lago Vista. And this lawsuit happens in the year 2000, and it's decided in the year of 2001. So what exactly, and why am I telling you about Atwater versus City of Lago Vista? Why does it matter so much? Why am I reflecting out loud and saying, Atwater versus City of Lago Vista is right up on the same level as Terry versus Ohio? And you have to remember, I've had 20 years to sit and think about this. So Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, when they sued the police department there, it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court then held that, and here's the exact written words by David Souter in Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. He said that if a police officer witnesses you break the law in his presence, even an infraction of the law, he can arrest you, and it is not a violation of unlawful searches and seizures of the Fourth Amendment. Unreasonable searches and seizures of the Fourth Amendment. And let me just say, now, if you jaywalk, if you spit gum on the sidewalk, if you litter, if anything is now arrestable because of the 2001 case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. So put a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard this before. We're past that now. You guys ever heard that before? Did you know I could take you to jail for that? Did you know I could take you to jail for that? Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard piggies say to somebody or say to you, "Did you know I could take you to jail for that?" Well, how come they can take you to jail for littering? How come they can take you to jail for spitting on the sidewalk? What's the reason why they can take me to jail for doing 10 miles out over the speed limit? Atwater versus City of Lago Vista gave police absolute power over us, and all they have to do is say, "I think he broke the law." That's it. A cop can arrest you if he says that he believes he saw you jaywalking. Acura Amanda, I saw her channel about 6 months ago when that filthy pig arrested her when she crossed the street in a crosswalk. They're being sued, the whole thing's going down, but we should not have to sue. There's no reason in the world you should be arrested unless you are a danger to yourself or a danger to society. That includes drugs. If the cops grab you and you have drugs, you should not go to jail. There's no point. It's not doing a damn thing. You arresting people on drugs is doing our society a negative, not a positive. If you get caught with a gram of cocaine or 20 grams of cocaine, or like Spoljaric, like Bradley Spoljaric in Ironton, Ohio, who got caught with 20 grams of meth and 8 grams of fentanyl. Let's not forget about Bradley Spoljaric. He shouldn't have gone to jail. Take his drugs, give him a ticket, and let him go to court. We need to end this bullshit war on drugs. That's what has to happen. So, Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, if the police can arrest you for any infraction of the law, then you don't have a Fourth Amendment right to unreasonable searches and seizures. It is unreasonable to be arrested for jaywalking. It is unreasonable to be arrested for smoking marijuana. It is unreasonable to be arrested for speeding. But it's the Atwater versus City of Lago Vista literally was written by a liberal justice who sided with the 4 conservatives, including Anthony Scalia, who I hope and pray is burning in hell with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There's no good ones. There's very few, very few. I mean, even if you go back to Terry versus Ohio and you read the one dissenting opinion of William O. Douglas, and then what you do, you research William O. Douglas and you read the cases that he wrote opinions on, and there's several different ways that Supreme Court personnel write opinions. Does anybody know this? Does anybody know the different kind of opinions at the Supreme Court level? Because I've read hundreds and hundreds of Supreme Court cases. So let me explain to you a little bit so you can kind of understand. So every different judge on the Supreme Court has the right to write an opinion, to write a holding. So when I say that to you, I don't think people truly understand the words that I'm saying. When a Supreme Court personnel, I don't call them justices because they're not just. When a Supreme Court personnel make a decision on a case and they write in the majority holding, so the reason why it's called a holding and not a ruling at the Supreme Court, because it's what the Supreme Court holds to be constitutional, what they hold to be the rule of law. And when the Supreme Court justices personnel, when they write an opinion in the majority, that is the Constitution. You understand that? So when people say, oh, the Supreme Court said, yeah, the Supreme Court decides and alters our Constitution constantly. And every 30 to 90 years, there's a correction. And when all the judges from 2001 are dead, then the judges in 2030, 2040, 2050, 2060 will overturn the tyrannical holding of 2001 of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. So now when I was talking about holdings, different judges can write different holdings. What does that mean? So let's just use the case, and I don't have the visuals for you guys here because I'm driving, but if you take a look at the case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, if someone can let me know the decision, what the Supreme Court personnel do is they will have the person who's in, so 5-4, so that's a majority. So then in that 5-4 majority, they'll look and they'll go, okay, we have 4 conservative Supreme Court appointed monarchs, and then we have 1 liberal appointed monarch. And so what they'll do most of the time is they have the minority perspective write the opinion, so that it looks as though they're all in it together. So when David Souter wrote the opinion that the 4 conservative Supreme Court justices signed on to, then what they're trying to do is say that this is the new constitutionality of your Bill of Rights. So the 4th Amendment says that it's the right of the people to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. Okay, so if you're going to be seized or searched for simply crossing the road or talking on the phone when driving, or name it, smoking pot or anything, littering, it is unreasonable that the government would seize you, search you, and arrest you. That is unreasonable. But you got to remember, the 1990s and early 2000s is some of the most authoritarian holdings of the Supreme Court in U.S. history. We are living through the absolute most tyrannical time of America. The only other time that could be compared, whoa, that's a trip. The only other time period that you could compare this time period to would be 1890 to 1910. 1890 to 1910 in the United States of America, it was a state of despotism. Horrible. And now the reason I'm kind of tripping about that is because it's cyclical. The circular cycle of the Supreme Court, like I said, the minimum case to overturn, the minimum amount of time of cases that I found to overturn cases, it would have been the 1927 case of Olmstead versus United States. Olmstead. Olmstead versus United States happened in 1927. In 1967, Katz, K-A-T-Z versus United States overturned the holding of Olmstead versus United States. That was 40 years. That was from 1927 to 1967. That was 40 years. So we have to, and let's be clear, I'm 48. So that would mean that most of my life, the government, so the Olmstead case is where William Howard Taft wrote the majority holding against Roy Olmstead, where he said that the FBI, isn't this amazing? The FBI had set up shop inside of the phone company. Sound like Twitter? Sound like Facebook? Yes, it does. So in 1924, when J. Edgar Hoover took over the FBI, he then planted directly into the telecommunication companies an entire section of FBI. And so remember, 1920 prohibition starts and it's illegal to buy or sell or create alcohol. And so when J. Edgar Hoover takes over the FBI in 1924, he starts poisoning the alcohol. But here's the whole point of it. What he does is he taps right into your phone and is listening to phone calls. And Roy Olmstead is a pig in Seattle who's bootlegging alcohol to Canada. And J. Edgar Hoover catches him. It goes all the way to the Supreme Court because they never want to prosecute pigs in our country. And so then when they get to the Supreme Court, former President William Howard Taft is now the Supreme Court Justice from 1920 to 1930. And he decides in his holding, he writes, "Constitution be damned. If we catch you bootlegging alcohol, we will prosecute you." And William Howard Taft, piece of garbage, the fattest president we've ever had. He could barely fit through doors or bathtubs. He was like 600 pounds. This guy was so fat. And he writes, your Bill of Rights don't matter. If we catch you, we're going to prosecute you. That's not the exact words of the holding, but it's pretty damn close. So William Howard Taft writes that holding in 1927, and I think it's like, was it 6-3 or 8-1? Can someone look that up for me? What was the Olmstead versus United States Supreme Court personnel voting count? Because these guys are not justices. These women are not justices. The only thing the Supreme Court has done is tried to uphold our Second Amendment right. And other than that, they've got it wrong most of the time, constantly over and over and over because of stare decisis. Stare decisis is where the case that you have has to be determined or decided by a case previously that was similar. So if the cops cut off your fingers while you're in torture cuffs, for you to sue them for violating qualified immunity, where they get immunity for torturing you or killing you, then you have to prove that there was a previous case where someone got their fingers cut off. Otherwise, the Supreme Court personnel can say, there's no case precedent. We can't decide this. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We're living in a total state of despotism. So the 2001 case, oh man, this damn truck is. The 2001 case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, what you need to know about it is that anything is arrestable. And then when you go into the cases, which case was that? There was a case where the Supreme Court said that if a cop arrests you and it's a mistake, he's not at fault. What case was that? I can't remember it. But the Supreme Court had a holding that said that if the police wrongfully arrest you, but they believe that they were doing it correctly, then you can't hold him liable for violating your constitutional rights, unlawful detainment, unlawful arrest, unlawful kidnapping, unlawful attempted rape, unlawful sexual assault, all those things. And so now with Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, plus absolutely anything is arrestable. And if anything is arrestable and the cop can't get in trouble if he makes a mistake, well, he thought he saw you jaywalking. You went to jail on Friday. You got out on Monday. But you know what? Atwater versus City of Lago Vista says anything is arrestable. And the other dang Supreme Court case that's just eluding my brain that I know so well, brain fart, says that if a cop arrests you wrongly, but he believes he was doing it correctly, that he's not outside of his qualified immunity. What's going on, Brian? What's going on? How you guys doing? I can't keep up with the chat when I'm driving. I can read some names here, but I can't. You have rights, cops have duties. What's going on? I mean, that's right. And so let's go back and let me recite the Fourth Amendment for you. Let me give you the exact words of the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. Say it again. The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Well, the Supreme Court in 2001 said the government can arrest you for anything they want. If you have made an infraction of the law, you can be arrested. Well, could we argue now that arresting people for any infraction of the law is an unreasonable seizure? I was arrested 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas for filming a pig. He said I was interfering. Okay, fine. Give me a ticket. Was it unreasonable that I was arrested, put in torture cuffs? They put their hands all over my cock, put their hands down my back of my pants. They did. They put their hands all over me. Disgusting. Was it unreasonable to arrest me? Yes, it was unreasonable. And now, Las Vegas PD, guess what? Lawsuit's almost done. Lawsuit should be done this week. I'm suing all you pigs. Every one of you pigs is getting sued. Every one of you. But why was I arrested? You know, this is what got my brain to thinking. How come you can arrest me and take me to a dungeon when I haven't created any victim? There's no restitution due. There's no property damage. Because he can arrest me using Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. That any infraction, and remember, that filthy pig Bork in Las Vegas Metro Police Department, he just said I broke the law. He just decided I was interfering. He just decided it. He just said, you know what? You're interfering. Now you're detained. He just made it up. So that pig can just make up that I'm interfering and then he tried to go hands-on with me, which, Officer Bork, you are really lucky, buddy. You're really lucky, buddy. You were over me. I'm under you. I weigh 210 pounds. I could have really hurt you, bro. I could have really hurt you. You are lucky, dude. I don't want to hurt people. I don't enjoy hurting people. It's not fun for me. If I wanted to hurt people, I would have fought pro back in the 90s. I didn't want to beat people up. I didn't want to do it. Bork, you are lucky I didn't crack your cranium, brother. You are really lucky. Because you were so out of position, I could have crushed your soul, bro. But why can he do that to me? You know, that's what triggered the Atwater versus City of Lago Vista conversation I'm having with you now. Why could he do that to me? I'm no danger. There's no victims. There's no property damage. There would be no rule. So let's just say, just for argument's sake, that I had interfered. Let's say that pig Bork was correct, that I had interfered. Okay, fine. Let's say he's right. He ended his stop and then said, I'm gonna charge you with a crime for interfering. Okay, fine. Let's say it's all true. Let's say that the interference was true. It wasn't, but let's just say it was, and let's say that he was correct. that the interfering law in Nevada, which doesn't say that, but it says that if you go near a cop and you film him, you can be arrested. Let's just say it said that you can be charged with a crime, not arrested. And so I walk up to Borg, the pig in Las Vegas. I'm filming him and the person he stopped. And then Borg says, okay, you can go, I'm going to give you a ticket for interfering. Okay, then give me a ticket. How come he could arrest me? A combination of Terry versus Ohio and Atwater versus City of Lago Vista is why he could arrest me. Van sucks, I guess. There's a little bit of... Yo, dog, what are you talking about? Seatbelt's on. What are you talking about? What's up? What's up, Playboy? I wear a seatbelt every single time. Every single time I wear a seatbelt. I wear a seatbelt when I get in a car. I mean, I would say 99% of the time. So, have you told anybody about Atwater versus City of Lago Vista? Put this into your Google search, oyez.org, oyez.org, and look up Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. I usually put into my Google, OYEZ, Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. And they put it down into 3 paragraphs for you. And you can read the front page of Oyez. Any infraction of the law is arrestable. And that, my friends, we have got to change. The only reason you should ever be arrested and taken away off of the streets and literally kidnapped is if you are a violent person who is causing physical damage to others or property damage and you won't stop. Because and the reason I say property damage and you won't stop, because let's just say, for example, that neighbors are always fighting, right? Let's say, for example, my neighbor leaves a chair on the line of my lawn and his lawn, and so I go over with my sledgehammer and I destroy that chair. I did destroy property. Guy calls the pigs and says, hey, this guy destroyed my property. The cops come out and they're like, yo, man, we're going to give you a ticket for destruction of private property. Okay, cool. But I don't need to be arrested. I'm not breaking all the guy's chairs. I'm not attacking him. I'm not fighting him. I didn't threaten to fight him. So that's where we are. Atwater versus City of Lago Vista is the reason why those filthy cops in Vegas could take me from from the street to a dungeon. That's why. Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. How many people have you talked? How many of you, put a 1 in the chat if you know about Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. Put a 1 in the chat if you are so aware of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. If you know all about it, put it in the chat. Trent knows about it. Hobbs knows about it. -1. Witch on Fire knows about it. You Have Rights. Aaron Queen knows about it. Kyle doesn't know about it. Grateful Dabs didn't know about it. Kevin Gordon. Well, Kevin, I think you're the Kevin Gordon I've known for a long time. I'm not sure if that's the same Kevin Gordon. The Kevin Gordon from TikTok, who was a buddy of mine in 2021. So, 0. So the question is it's only been 22 years. The fastest case I told you guys was Olmstead versus United States was overturned by Katz versus US in 1967. That's 40 years. So we're at 22 years with Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. So the question is, how much faster can we get that one overturned? That's the $1 million question. How do we get out? Because you should have a right to be secure in your person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, even if you've broken the law. I'm considering running in Nevada. I'm considering running in Alaska because it has to be changed from the top down. You have to have a governor in one of the 50 states or the president, who is the chief executive, change from the top down, where Because if I was the governor of Nevada or the governor of Alaska or Ohio, I would pass an executive order that you cannot arrest people unless they are a danger to themselves, to others, or refuse to stop damaging property. That's what I would pass an executive order, and I will. So I'm considering Alaska. I'm considering running for governor in Alaska. I'm considering running for governor in Nevada. I'm considering running for governor. See, because the thing is by the time I run, I'm kind of known now, but by the time I run in the next 4 or 5, so in Alaska, you have to be a resident for 7 years before you run. So that means I would have to switch my Alaska residency this year. In Nevada, you have to be a resident of Nevada to run for governor. You have to be a resident for 4 years. There's some states like Idaho where you just have to be over 30 years old and be a resident of Idaho. I believe it was Idaho. There's a few states. Minnesota, you only have to be a resident of Minnesota for 3 years to run for governor. And I'm telling you guys this because change will not happen from our efforts. No. Everything I'm doing now is to show the people before I run for governor that we have no power. Only the executive has power. Only the executive of the state or the president of the United States has the power to write an executive order or to change the state constitution. Because there's no reason why one person should have absolute power over you because they say they're suspicious. And only the governor of Nevada, only the governor of California, of Ohio, can write that into the state constitution and then get it ratified by 2/3 of the governance body there in that state. And different states have different ratification processes. So it has to be changed from the top down. Because the moment that I'm the executive of Nevada, California, Alaska, Oregon, Ohio, Florida, I'm not going to run. You know, Ohio, I would love to come back and run there. It's such a big state. The population is 29 million and I'm a peon. And people are used to voting for the son or daughter of the politician or the son or daughter of the richest person in that area who has the most money and the most privilege and the most benefit to get their name out there. In Alaska, by the way, we got a governor in there named Mike Dunleavy. Mike Dunleavy is from District D in Alaska, the Kenai Peninsula, where I was raised. I've known Mike Dunleavy since I was a kid. And the population of Alaska is only 700,000. So I have some thoughts. But the truth is, and I'm telling all of you now, everything we're doing, all the activism, everything, very little change will happen with us. Tiny. Right now, I'll have my fourth. I saw a video the other day where I told these cops I have 4 active lawsuits. I misspoke. I have 3, and I'm about to have my 4th in Las Vegas. So, but it's not going to make a difference in changing the system for you. Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, if you're on the side of the road smoking a joint, the cop can still arrest you. And just so you guys know, the reason why police arrest you for smoking a joint or any kind of drug offense, any kind of drug usage or paraphernalia, the reason they arrest you is because of Joe Biden and Bill Clinton's 1994 crime bill that literally funds police departments based on how many narcotics arrests they have on their record. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So if you ever heard of someone getting arrested for drugs but there was no drugs in their car, it doesn't matter if there was drugs in the car or not. They get money for the charge. So I'm going to change that, but we can't change it. We can't change it. You and I do these videos. I come out and talk publicly because people have to be aware of what's happening. People have to know what's going on. But you and I and all of our activism, we're going to have this much change. An executive of a state or the executive of America has unbelievable power. Unbelievable power. And I will change policing from the top down. I will get rid of Terry versus Ohio and Atwater versus City of Lago Vista in the state of which I'm governor. And I'll do that by state constitution. And the federal government cannot trump the state constitution. Good luck. Good luck. You want to have a war? You'll have a major war. And I'm talking about a legal war, not a physical war. As you guys know, I'm not for violence. So once a state changes its state constitution, it is really hard. And then, by the way, once I'm governor of the state, I can then ban federal agents from coming into that state. And if any federal agents try to impose any federal laws on the citizens of the state that I'm governor, I can arrest those federal agents. Yeah, and I will. I'm going to change this country, and I will never stop until the change. What do you think's in here? What do you think I'm doing in here? What do you think I got? I'm about to start Constitutional Law Scholar. There's a few things I'm doing, and you guys are going to see it. We have to change the hearts and minds of the bootlickers, and you have to do it in a way that they don't see you coming, or they'll just put their heels in. I mean, you guys can see all the Karens and bootlickers on my channel. So many. It's unbelievable. They're terrified of me because I'm electable, I'm smart, and I'm going to win. And I'm going to change. I'm going to change policing from the top down. Watch me do it. Atwater versus City of Lago Vista, it is unreasonable for you to be arrested for an infraction of the law. I'm sorry, but it is. It's unreasonable that we would take a person who signed up to be a peace officer and swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. This guy's going to waste his time arresting someone for crossing the street when the light wasn't red, when the light wasn't green. And that's what Atwater versus City of Lago Vista does. And I'm not sure if you know this or not, but in the state of California, we have just banned jaywalking laws. You know why? And I've been saying it for, ask Jeff Lloyd. I've been telling Jeff Lloyd for a decade. They use jaywalking to target people, to arrest people they don't like. Specifically, that's mostly blacks in California. So, and Mexicans. Lots of blacks and Mexicans get arrested for jaywalking. I'm just giving you the facts, man. I certainly look pretty freaking white. I'm half white. That doesn't mean that mi amo Jose Maria doesn't get arrested for crossing the street once the pigger sees my ID. America is not as racist as the policing organizations are. The policing organizations in this country teach inherently racist policies. And for all my poor white folks all across Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, they're targeting you too. The laws were created for blacks and Mexicans. Now they ran out. You're next. And now that they've ran out of poor whites because they're all methed out and they're all drugged out and they're all povertied out, now what they do is they target middle-class folks by hiding on the side of the road to ticket you. If your car gets stolen, they won't send anybody out to do an investigation, but they'll hide on the side of the road. And what do we see? I mean, I saw a video, News Now Omaha had a video. I saw News Now Omaha's video today. You got a dozen cops there for one guy who's doing nothing. It's such a misappropriation of funds. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, let me read some names here. Gregory, what's going on? Colt, what's going on, dude? How you doing? Good to see you. Someone wants me to answer them. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh yeah. What's the matter? You don't like my iPhone streaming? Is my iPhone streaming bad or something? Is there something wrong with this phone? You know? Did you see Action Jackson just put on here Trump DeCastro 2024? Did you see Trump's rally though? I watched his rally. Boy, I'm not promising all that stuff. I'm not promising your schools are going to be better and that you're going to have more money and you're going to have a better car and you're going to get school choice and you're going to get better health care. And that's what Trump did the other day at his rally. And I was thinking to myself, man, I can only fix so many things, And then we bring on the president of the United States and say, okay, fix everything, bro. Everything's you. Everything's you. Everything's you. It's... So I want you guys. Oh, thanks, Tube Sock. Appreciate it, man. Celebrate first super chat from Tube Sock 8, huh? Yeah. What's going on, Chevy? What's going on, Chevy? What's going on? What is going on? I know it. I know it. Just so you guys know, and any person who runs as a D or an R, as a Democrat or a Republican, I don't support them. I have not voted for a Republican or a Democrat since 2008 when I voted for Barack Obama, which I regret beyond the pale, but my one vote didn't mean squat. But I don't vote for Democrats and Republicans, and anybody who enters into their sphere is part of the problem. If you are a diehard Republican or a diehard Democrat, you're the problem. Because we need a third party, just like we need a third party that gets all the body cam footage and all the dash cam footage from the pigs. That's what we need. And until we have a third party, the Democrats and Republicans are running a monopoly on us. And you guys saw this. And so some of the Trump people, you guys will like this statement. What a waste of time that impeachment was. What a waste of time. It was just Republicans and Democrats trying to put each other. Such a waste of time. We knew that the impeachment wouldn't be successful, but yet they wasted tens of millions of our dollars as they sat and fought against Trump, who was not going to lose. The Senate was not going to impeach him. But yet that's what they do. They fight each other with our money. They take our money and they go to wars around the world. They take our money and they say more training for pigs. And the training for pigs is stop resisting, stop resisting. You know, that pig who tortured me, that hurt my arm, the reason why my finger and my thumb is numb all the time now, because he hurt my ulna right there. Dude, that shit is still bruised. Piece of shit. So, you know, that guy right there, dude. You know, Butch the original. What's going on? What is going on? It has to be changed from the top down. It will not be changed. Some things will change by our efforts. Some things will change by people. But look at George Floyd. I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but where I live in West Hollywood, California, after George Floyd was murdered, there was 1 million people from the ocean in Santa Monica all the way to downtown LA going down Santa Monica Boulevard. 1 million people. Just in one state. Has anything changed in policing since George Floyd, or has it gotten worse? If you guys think policing has gotten worse since George Floyd, put a 1 in the chat. If you guys think policing has gotten better since George Floyd, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to know what you think. Because in my assertion, from my assessment, it's gotten worse. It's gotten much worse. Cops are worse. Far worse. And you got these beta male cucks who, that pig, I got to get his name. I think it's Solero, the cop who tortured me, the one who's getting sued, that I'm going to get your job, dude. You think you got away with something, bro? I'm going to get your job, dude. I'm going after your job. I'll tell the state of Nevada, you know what? I'm willing to forego some of the financial settlement if you fire him and he can't be rehired. I want that cop fired. And I want him charged for torturing me. That's what I want. And I want those other cops charged for failure to intervene. And that should be a U.S. Code 1983. That's what this should be. This would be the U.S. Code 18, Section 241 and 242. A U.S. Code, so the difference between a U.S. Code 18, when you talk about a civil rights violation, when I say U.S. Code 18, the differential between a U.S. Code 18 and a U.S. Code 42, both are civil rights violations. U.S. Code 18 is a criminal civil rights violation. U.S. Code 42 is a civil rights violation. I don't have prosecutorial, I'm not a district attorney. I can't prosecute the pig. So I cannot charge him with a U.S. Code 18. I can sue him under a U.S. Code 42. So you guys have to know that, because you'll often hear people who haven't sued before or don't really actually, you know, you can only learn what you can learn. So I'm educating, right? So when you hear someone say that's a U.S. Code 18, it's not. Unless the prosecutor charges the pig with a U.S. Code 18 under a Section 241 or 242. So you know, Great Gaz 00, So let me, here's an epiphany that I don't know if I shared this with the audience or not yet. I have with my inner circle of people who help me legally and people who do research with me, and I have a huge team of people. But there's a few people who are really close to me. I'm not gonna go to law school. I'm not gonna take a bar. I can't. Doing law work sucks. It sucks beyond the pale. Most of the people who you help weekly break. They quit in the middle of the lawsuit. Most of them. Or they quit before it even really began. And so, and then when I'm researching legal work and working on legal documents and stuff, I've taken myself out of the change category, and now I'm just right back in the same rut. Because I can sue all these pigs, and I'm going to get some money from Las Vegas PD. If they'll fire Jay Solnero, whatever his name is, if they fire him, I'll take less money. But I'm going to get a 7-figure deal from Vegas. I'm not sure if you guys know that or not. The arrest that happened to me in Las Vegas, that's a $3 million lawsuit. Did you know that? There's already case precedent. So I don't want to go too far into the legal strategy and stuff here. But no, I'm not gonna go to law school, and I'm not gonna take the bar. I can't stand doing legal work. I really hate it. I can't stand doing legalese. I guess that's not this. I don't really actually do legal work. I do legalese, which is paperwork and filings and stuff like that. And let me tell you, in the past year, I hate it. I don't like it at all. It's such a miserable, thankless job. And so many of the people who you help don't really appreciate you at all. It's really tough, really tough. I remember those folks in Ohio wanted me to help them sue the Ironton Police Department, and it took less than a year before they turned on me completely. So, and now imagine that I'm balls deep on their lawsuit, and then they turn on me. So it's like, I haven't enjoyed the process of legalese. I haven't enjoyed the process of doing legal paperwork. I just haven't had a very good time doing it. And also, and then a lot of people, just so you guys know, a lot of people will say, Chille's lost all of his lawsuits. I have lost 0 lawsuits. 0. In the past 2 years since I filed, I have lost 0 lawsuits. I've lost a couple of motions where the motions were ruled against me, and I have lost a couple restraining order hearings. I have not lost a lawsuit that I filed. No, have not. So people go in there, oh, he's lost all of his lawsuits. No, I haven't. I haven't. All my lawsuits are still actively pending right now, right this very minute. That's not the exit. So people who say, oh, he's lost all of his lawsuits. No, I have not. I haven't lost. My lawsuit in Cincinnati against the Ironton police is still going. It's still ongoing. They've just recently filed a motion to dismiss, and they're waiting for the judge to reply. My lawsuit in Massachusetts is still ongoing. The judge now has to reply to what biases she has against me or other information she has on me that she is not disclosed, and also release all ex parte communications. Judge Burroughs has sat on this for weeks. My lawsuit in California is just taking off. The coward in Washington is hiding from service. The coward in Massachusetts is hiding from service. Dan Clemente, the stalker, is hiding from service. They were all so tough. Everybody said, oh, Chille, he's going to sue me. He's going to sue me. They were all so tough until I sued your ass, and now you're hiding. They were all so tough until you get sued, bro. Where are you, Dan? You were so tough on the street. Put a 1 in the chat if you would have liked to see me put Dan Clemente into the concrete. Which I don't believe in hurting people. I think it's bad. Doesn't mean I don't think it. Doesn't mean I don't feel it. I mean, I get so mad sometimes I'm seeing red. How come I don't have any charges of violence? How come there's no charge of battery, no 911 call on me for battery, no 911 call on me for assault? How come I've never been charged with assault or battery? Because I don't hit people. I don't strike people. It just doesn't happen. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not getting involved in that nonsense where it gets us nowhere. Violence will get us nowhere until it's a massive amount of violence by all of the people. And then we'll get somewhere. But I'm not going to sacrifice my life and get myself killed, and the decades and decades of research and knowledge I've obtained that sticks in my brain like a splinter in my cranium so that I can go to violence. If for some reason my presence was extinguished, with it goes decades of knowledge and research on our rights, on exactly what you and I need to happen. And you, right there, sitting there watching me, you don't need me to fist fight people. You don't need me to use guns and baseball bats. You don't need me to do that. What you need in Connecticut, what you need in Idaho, what you need from me in Hawaii is you need me to get into executive power and change policing from the top down. That's what you need me to do. You need me to subside my ego and my natural physical prowess and curtail those ideas and those actions and work purely on my cerebral and my electability. That's what you need for me to do, and that's what I need to do for other people and for myself, because I hate this system. You've given one man absolute power over another man. He cannot even shrug his shoulder and say, "Why are you grabbing me?" I wonder what could go wrong from that situation. I wonder what could go bad from there. So if you guys are revolutionary minded, you want to go to violence and guns and overthrow the government, I'm sorry. I'm probably the wrong guy, because they'll just kill me. They'll just kill me. They'll assassinate me. And then who else has dedicated decades and decades to learning this stuff? Who else is electable? Who else has an unwavering drive? Very few people. Very few people. And now that I've been public for almost 2 years, I realize I have something inside of me that I don't understand, that drives me. I can't even put a finger on it. I don't know what it is. But I can't stand being bullied. It's why I don't bully other people. I can't stand it. You know, and these horrifically bad people that are hiding from service up in Washington and Massachusetts, and that diabetic Dan Clemente, it's like, you're such cowards. You offer nothing to society. You do nothing for anybody but yourself. You collect finances and earn revenue from other people, and you do nothing for anybody. And I know now that I'm not like other people. And so what I need to do for you, and what you need to encourage me to do, is stay on course. Continue to preach nonviolence, petitioning, assembling, and using the legislation already created. Am I mad as hell? Oh my God. I walk around, I have natural high blood pressure. So So I got to change it. And I'm researching right now where I'm going to file for residency to run for governor in that state. Ohio has 12 million people. I don't know if I can win over enough people to vote for me on a third-party ticket in Ohio. I don't know if I can win over enough people in California to run for governor on a third-party ticket. I think I could do that in Nevada. I think I could do it in Alaska. I think I could do it in Wyoming. I think I could do it in Maine. I think I could do it in possibly Arizona. But I don't think I could do it in a hugely populous state, because so many people, I can't get people to change that they don't film cops. I can't get people to pull their camera out and film cops. So now I'm going to get someone to leave their indentured R's or D's. It's going to have to be a smaller population state for me to be able to win. So, and man, this is, just so you guys know, you guys only see me for an hour or two every other day or whatever, right? This is all I think about. day in, day out, wake up in the morning, go to bed, eat my lunch, eat my dinner, go to the gym, I'm constantly thinking, I have to get to executive power to change this from the top down. I have to get to executive power. There are thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people in prisons and jails that are relying on somebody who's good, that has the internal fortitude to never quit, to never stop, to never surrender. There has to be more people who want to do this. And they have, the only person I can really do anything to change is right here. I can change this guy, and I have. People say things, let me just say something, and I'll just be totally honest. I'm so proud of myself, it's unbelievable. You know, I'm so proud of myself. I came from such a situation. You have no idea my background. Nobody really knows me until my book come out. When my book comes out, then you'll have an insight to what I've actually done and where I've been and what I've, oh shit, well, scoot the fudge over. Scoot the fudge over. Shit, I got my blinker on. Can't she see it? She's driving a hot pink Jeep. So it has to be changed from the top down, my friends. It will not be changed by activism. The Supreme Court will constantly, eat my shorts, lady. Just quit honking at me. Freaking nutball. You're just a nutball, lady. You are truly, truly a nutball. But you can't control everybody and everything. No, I'm proud of myself. Like, you know, when my book comes out, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys my life story. But you guys have no idea what I've overcome. You couldn't even imagine it. You couldn't even imagine it. You know, I had to tell people, and I'll tell you now, I am not suicidal. I did not kill myself. If there's some report that I killed myself, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay, I have faced adversity to levels where people call to check on me to say, oh, I was just worried about you, haven't heard from you for a day. Like, what do you mean? You know, afraid I'm going to check out, you know? No. You get kicked in the nuts, you fall down, roll around on the floor, scream and cry, get up. Don't give me excuses. Change it. The only thing that's going to change it is you. Change doesn't happen because we want it to. Change happens because you say, I'm no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I'm changing the things I cannot accept. And until you get there, I've changed me. I mean, you guys have no idea. You'll read my book and you'll be like, wow, I can't believe. It's just, I mean, whatever. But one of us has got to get to executive power to change these things. To change these things. And the only way it's actually going to change is with executive power. City of Lago Vista versus Atwater is so disgusting. It created that it gave a cop absolute power. So you've heard the cop says, did you know you could go to jail for that? The reason he's saying that is because of the 2001 case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. I'm smoking a cigarette, which I don't smoke. I'm smoking a cigarette. Roll down my window, flick the butt out the window. I hate that. It's arrestable. I don't like seeing people flick their cigarette butt out the window. I don't want the guy to go to jail, though. I don't want him to be put in torture cuffs. I don't want him to go to jail. Atwater versus City of Lago Vista allows cops to arrest you for flicking a cigarette butt on the ground. And it's not unreasonable. It's perfectly legal. It's reasonable. Would that corrupt you? You think that would corrupt you? If you could arrest people for any infraction of the law, would that corrupt you? Absolutely. Absolutely it would. It would corrupt you all the way to the core. I have absolute power over another person, and I can arrest them for anything. That would corrupt you. You guys, and OCB wrote a comment and said you need more you need more exposure, dude. You have a good story. So you guys got to remember, I've only been here a year, almost 2. So I started in Juneteenth was the day we shot in 2020. And then I didn't start talking publicly until June 20th of 2020. So I'm coming up on 2 years. June 20th of 2020 was the very first day I spoke publicly about my knowledge on the Constitution and about your rights. June 20th, 2021, and that video got 50,000 views. So then the next day I made another video, and that video got 1 million views. So I knew right away that there were people who heard my message, and not only heard it, shared it. A guy named Real Hugh Dudley, Real DL Dudley on Twitter, he tweeted one of my TikTok videos on my second day on June 21st of 2021. Real Deal Hugh Dudley. He retweeted or downloaded and posted my video where I compared the prison system to the lynching chart. And that video got 1 million views. And that was my second day ever talking publicly on social media. So I know that what I'm saying resonates with people immediately. There's no delay. As soon as I say it's gone too far, we live in a police state, there's millions of people who go, yep, he's right. And now here's the problem. We just keep on electing the son or daughter of the previous politician. And even if that previous politician went to prison, Ted Stevens in Alaska, I believe, he went to prison. Can someone look that up for me? I want to make sure I don't want to misspeak here, because I'm certainly not lying. I'm telling you what I believe I remember. Ted Stevens, I believe, was charged with a felony in Alaska. And his daughter or son ended up running for politics later and winning. And then Lisa Murkowski is one of the, Lisa Murkowski, I believe she's one of the senators in Alaska. And I think her family had some stuff in it. I can't remember. I know Ted Stevens did for sure. But then one of his sons or daughters ran for something. We just keep on putting in office the richest guy's son or daughter, or the son or daughter of the politician who got us in this horrible mess that we're in today. And you wonder why it's not getting better. You keep on putting rich people in office who don't give a shit about us peons. You're a peon, I'm a peon. If you don't make over $1 million a year, the government doesn't care about you. And if you do make over $1 million a year and you're not giving some of that to the political campaigns of politicians and judges, they don't care about you anyway. Like, see, right now, just so you guys know, this thumb is numb right this second from that cop squeezing on my elbow for 30 minutes. This thumb right here, I got numbness in it. I was telling my buddy today on the phone, we were talking about the case we were filing in Las Vegas against the cops who arrested me. And I said to him on the phone, I said, bro, I wish I was just sitting here telling you that I don't have very much feeling in my thumb and forefinger just so that I could be making stuff up to get more money or to make it sound worse. I'm not making it up. I have numbness in my finger and my thumb. And I've had it since the cop abused me. Yo. Oh, thanks for the super chat. GQ tube, huh? Oh, what is it? What's the answer? Someone just put it in there. Colt. What was the answer? Stone Wolf, thanks for being a member. I appreciate it. KT, good to see you, honey. Nice to see everybody. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. So we got to get there. We got to get to executive power, or, I mean, and I want to say something so bad, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna, let me put it in another light so that it's not abrasive. Anybody on YouTube, anybody on TikTok, anybody on social media who says that they're working with police is lying. You're a liar. You're not working with cops, and if you are working with cops, what are you doing over here? Because you're on the wrong side. Nobody is working with cops. Nobody is educating cops. Nobody. Until we get to executive power where we can ban torture cuffs in a state and show that they were never needed. Until that happens, we're cooked. We're cooked. We're in the pot of water and it's boiling now. How long before our friends and family start to melt? That's where we are. And it could be you. You might back the blue till it happens to you, but it's coming. It's coming. So we have to get to executive power. We have to get to executive power. And by the time I run, let me ask you guys something. Let me ask you guys something right here, right now. How many of you guys believe, put a 1 in the chat, if I believe in power to the people? If you guys think of me and you say, that guy right there, ChilleDeCastro, he's for power for the people. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that about me. Put a 2 in the chat if you think, no, that's not what he thinks. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that when I get to the governor's office, that I will change policing from the top down. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that the day one that I'm governor, torture cuffs are banned. Banned. And I'll have a new apparatus and I'll have new procedures. All laying on your belly, gone. No more laying on your belly. Gone. Gone. Day one. New procedures. Oh, we need more training. No, you don't. You need new training. So every time you hear these filthy pigs say, we need more training. No, you don't. You need new training. There's a big difference between more training and new training. There's a big difference. Because, so now, right now, we're only at 100,000 subscribers. I looked it up because so many people have contacted me about 100,000 subscribers. According to Ulytics, I think is what the name of the thing was, 300,000 people have over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Cool, cool, that's amazing. But of the people who are here, you, as the person watching this, watching me talk to you, you have to believe deep right here that I'm gonna change shit. I'm gonna change shit! You hear me? This cannot stand. This will not stand. I will change it from the top down. And I don't give a rat's ass who likes me. I don't care. You know, of the people, it's so funny. I'm so mission oriented. I don't want to give anybody any light who doesn't deserve it. And along this mission, I met some people, and one of those people said to me, "Oh, Chille, you shouldn't block people." And there was a time I was influenced by these people. If you're not on the mission, get the fuck out of here. Take you and your ham sandwich and go pack a lunch. I don't want you here. I don't need you here. I don't care if you're here. If you're not on the mission for change, then get the fuck off my channel. I'll block your ass. I don't care. You create 40 accounts, I'll block them all. I don't care. I need people who are going to support me and vote for me. That's what I need. And that's what you need me to do. You need me to get to executive power. Because I can't stand it. I can't stand this system. I watched News Now Omaha's video. And by the way, thanks Auditors United for sending that over to me. By the way, you guys pop over to auditorsunited.org. He's putting out, one of the guys over there is putting out some good information. He's putting out some good stuff. He contacted me this morning when he sent me News Now Omaha's video. Auditors United over there. Go over to that website, auditorsunited.org. So, you know, I knew I had this long drive today, and I know that I'm setting up for Constitutional Law Scholar right now. And so I'm finally there, you know, where I can teach you guys how to be a Constitutional Law Scholar and the reason why cops suck so badly. It's not because so there's this argument that a cop didn't sign up to kill people. He didn't sign up. He didn't become a cop just to oppress and kill people, did he? And let me be honest. No, I don't believe that he did. I want to believe that most people are good. I believe that most people who sign up to be pigs, they're already mentally rejected. So they're already a mental reject. You sign up to be a pig, you already think that, you know, you're a hero or you want to hurt people. Or I'm trying to square it because I have a YouTube channel and I see thousands of videos of pigs hurting people. How could you sign up for that, bro? So I don't want to believe that people sign up to be pigs, to be a pig. Here's what I do know. that when I teach you guys constitutional law, scholar, you will see case after case after case that gives them unlimited power in different sections of your life. Your home, your car, when you're walking, when you have a gun, when you're driving. They've created laws in every single section of our lives. Every section via Supreme Court. From business laws going back to the Lochner era, from 1899 to 1937, the Lochner era of the Supreme Court. If you're unfamiliar with the Lochner era, that's going to be based off of Lochner versus New York, and I believe that's going to be 1905. So the Lochner era of the Supreme Court, they passed laws that worked against our prosperity and employment. They passed laws that you have to be and work for slave wages. In West Coast Hotel, the case that determined minimum wage, the people of America in that court case, they fought for a minimum wage. They created laws that give us the minimum. Do you understand that? A minimum wage, not your maximum wage. They didn't fight for a maximum wage. They've created laws that you can't grow food. They've created laws that you can't ride a bike. Oh, you can ride it, but we created a bunch of laws that if you don't ride your bike like this, they've created laws that you have to have a helmet on a motorcycle, but you can get a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt in a car. What are you talking about? You get flung off a motorcycle, you're screwed. What's the biggest contradiction in the world? A motorcycle cop giving a guy in a car a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt. The Supreme Court has created laws based on your rights to property. It's called eminent domain. You can email me, my brother. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Have you guys ever heard of eminent domain? The Supreme Court and the courts created laws that says the government can just take your property. And you wonder why it's gone so bad. You have elitists who are appointed to the Supreme Court. Elitists are then backed by other elitists who don't have to go through any kind of process. You think the confirmation hearing at the Senate is an actual process for Supreme Court personnel? It's not. It is not. It is not. No, dude. The Supreme Court appointment process, go back to Federalist Paper number 3. You can read the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers, but it's broken down into chapters that are letters written back and forth by founding fathers in the Federalist Papers. And so they're writing these publications and putting these letters in publications all around the country before, of course, the Bill of Rights is ratified into the Constitution in 1793. So what are they writing in Federalist number 3? John Jay writes, if we appoint the right men in the right places. And that's what they've done. That's what they've done. The rich get everything, we get nothing. How many of you guys saw the huge checks going out to millionaires during COVID? How many of you guys saw that? I saw it. People were dying in the streets, literally. And they're sending multi-million-dollar checks to people like Jay-Z. I don't know if you got any money, I'm just saying. People like that. People like that. Got multi-million-dollar checks. So, dunce cap? Yeah. I am a great big dunce cap. That's true. That's true. I am a great big dunce cap. I only know the things that I know. Everything else, I'm a dunce cap. If you want to know how the bones of a cat, I'm dunce cap. If you want to know what the average temperature is in Iceland, I'm a dunce cap. If you want to talk about your rights, I got some information. If you want to talk about how to change things, I have some ideas and some information I could share with you. But you're right, Steve. When it comes to everything else, man, I'm a great big dunce cap. If you want to know how to change the carburetor in this van, I'm a dunce cap. I couldn't do it. I mean, I could if I sat there long enough and tried. good news, hopefully I've got a tooth appointment coming up here, and I'm gonna get this. I got this tooth back here. See that tooth? I got no tooth right there. So I'm hoping. I got an implant appointment coming up in the next few weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. I really can't wait to get this tooth fixed. I cannot wait. And thank you for your support. One of the folks in the chat here who I mentioned earlier. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. You know, it's like it's a never-ending battle. It's a never-ending battle to balance my personal life, my family life, my true life, my dedication to change, to the Delete Lawz channel, to another thing that we're doing that's an entire another venture that I have told nobody about, except for the thousands of people who will see this video. I just can't tell you guys what it is yet. But, you know, it's a constant battle for me to be able to balance my time properly. And what I have decided and determined is that I cannot balance my time. I need to dedicate as many possible minutes, seconds, hours, days, months, and years to changing this system before I run out of time and I die. That's what I have to do. Like, a lot of you guys have family and have friends and a social life and a girlfriend or a wife. You know, I have a text buddy. I have a text buddy that I get my emotional fix from. That's it. And she's great, but I only have a text friend. So I gotta balance a little more, but I don't think I can. I think I'm absolutely obsessed with changing things. I'm obsessed with getting the executive power necessary to change policing from the top down. I'm just so, it's like, to me, it's like The Ring. Without getting the power, the change will never come. It will never come. And our lives will come and go, and we'll all live by this Supreme Court cycle of every 40 to 100 years, change occurs. And I don't want it. I don't want it. I want to change it now. So, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't feel like I'm alone. I know that there's lots of people here. I just so frustrated that this is our current system. It makes me so sick. It makes me so sick that this is our current system. And so I have to change it. I have to change it. Anyway, listen, I've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes or so, anything like that. If you guys haven't gone by the Delete Lawz website and picked up your digital trifold or your indestructible trifold, please go by there and always carry your trifold in your car. I have my trifold right here. Right here. So if I get pulled over, all I have to do is open this bad chicken up, pull my out. I really should have it right here. I think I'm going to pull over, dig in my bag, get the trifold out, and put it up here on my visor. Because you want to make sure you never, and a lot of people talk about the trifold and say this and say that. The first page says, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. That's all I really want you guys to do. The other cases are on there so that you can have a way to fight back if they say, hey, thanks for the super chat. I didn't see it come in, but thank you. The trifold is designed so that you can invoke your Fifth Amendment right, and if they try to get you to talk, you can just point at the Fifth Amendment and say, I'm not talking to you. I've invoked my Fifth. And then if he continues, you can say, you're harassing me. Do your job, code enforcer, write my ticket, and let me go. Because that's all I want you to do. I don't want you to get in a back and forth with the pig. Where are you going? Oh, I'm just coming back from San Francisco. Oh yeah? Okay, and where are you heading? Oh, I'm going down to San Diego. Okay, and what are you doing down there? I don't want you to do that. I want you to invoke your Fifth Amendment right immediately and don't talk to that piggy. Don't talk to the piggy. Do not talk to a pig. Don't talk. SWE Observer, Gloria Mikey, good to see everybody. Let me read off some names here. Tennessee Accountability, what's going on, Playboy? Gloria, Joe Magnets is here. Alan, Carlos, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Vic, good to see you, Vic. I don't see a V Boyer in here, but I miss her. Tube Sock, good to see you, Tube Sock. Butch, the original Bronco Nation, thank you for helping me today, Bronco Nation. I appreciate it. KT, PJC Net, Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates pigs. Alan, good to see you. Good to see you. AK Audits. AK, I considered coming back home to Alaska to run for governor. There's a 7-year lead time for me to run for governor. That would be 2030, and I don't know if I can do it. I don't know, and I don't know if I can live there again, to be honest. I mean, so AK Audits, let me just expand on what I just said to you. I'm being a little bit mysterious here because I told you the truth, but I didn't quite tell you the whole truth. AK Audits, like, I have made maneuvers to, reach over to me, send me an email at deletelawz@gmail.com, the same as my YouTube channel, deletelawz@gmail.com, if you want to send me some ideas. I've seriously considered AK Audits coming back home to Alaska and running for governor. I've been considering it more than I could possibly even tell you. Now this guy's gonna be over here. Go past me, bro. So AK Audits, I was considering changing my residency this year. That's how much I was serious about coming back and running for governor in Alaska. I was considering changing my residency in the next couple months to Alaska, but I may run in Nevada. I don't know. You only need one executive. You can see that with what Ron DeSantis did, number one, with the 2020 bird flu, and then number two, with the central bank digital currency that Ron DeSantis is rejecting roundly, as he should. So if you guys are unfamiliar about this, the federal government right now, the US federal government, is trying to pass a new organization in America. It's called the Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC. And so essentially what the CBDC would do is it would have a kill switch to your finances. If you are in the hemp business and then they say, oh, well, we're going to criminalize hemp, they may just be able to turn off your financial spigot so that you can't get any financing because you were working in the hemp industry. And that could very easily happen because the DuPont company, that is now called something else, they changed the name after DuPont murdered Dave Schultz, scumbag that he was. If you guys haven't seen Foxcatcher, the movie Foxcatcher about Dave Schultz was one of the baddest men on the planet of all time. He was a wrestler, an Olympic gold medalist. He was the baddest wrestler of his era. Dave Schultz is his name. And he was murdered by DuPont. It wasn't Lamont. Lamont DuPont was the guy who participated in passing the 1937 Marijuana Tax Act that would be pushed through by Andrew Mellon, who was the Secretary of Treasury for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So the Marijuana Tax Act was passed specifically for the DuPont family, and also for William Randolph Hearst, who was running the newspaper companies that were using wood for paper, and they didn't want the hemp industry to compete. So let me just tell you how powerful the governorship, one of the 50 executives, and then the president is the 51st executive, and he's the grand poobah. So Ron DeSantis, the central bank digital currency, he can shut it down as a governor of a state. You could be the governor of Rhode Island and participate in shutting down the central bank digital currency. They're trying to create an organization that can control all of our finances. And I don't like Ron DeSantis, law and order, back the blue rallies. I don't like it. I do agree with his stance for standing up against the bird flu lockdowns and the bat flu lockdowns and against the central bank digital currency. We don't want it. We don't want a central bank digital currency. So I don't like Ron DeSantis. I do like some of the things he's done. Anybody who's for back the blue, law and order, you're the problem, dude. You are an elitist. You don't understand what's happening to the people in our country. 9 out of 10 people are persecuted and prosecuted by pigs. And the entire judicial system has to be changed. You got to get rid of most ways. You got to get rid of these prosecutors. Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. You can also listen to the oral arguments there, which I think that's what we'll do when I get to my destination. We will sit and listen to Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. And so I want you guys to share Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. All right, I'm gonna get the flock out of here, baby. I'm gonna get the flock out of here. Teach someone today about Atwater. All right, I'll